everyone. Take the best notes you can. Ask questions. Help me out so we can fly through this. Make sure you're asking questions. So it says in parallelogram ABCD. Notice, guys, when you're naming a parallelogram, A, B, C, D, I don't jump all over the place. A, B, then C, D in that order. Does everybody see how I wrote it? Okay. You could go A, B, C, D as long as you stay consistent. So it says, what is the measure of all the missing angles? So first thing to remember, you guys, is that in a parallelogram, that opposite angles, now opposite would be like this, opposite angles are equal. So if angle A is 50 degrees, angle C is 50 degrees. Questions on that? Now the next thing to remember, all consecutive angles add up to be 180. Consecutive means one comes after another. So from here to here is a consecutive angle. From here to here is a consecutive angle. Here to here is a consecutive angle. And here to here. Any consecutive angles add up to be 180. So from here to here is 180, right? So this is 130. Isn't this equal to this? Yeah, so this is 130 degrees. Now, it makes sense, our picture makes sense, because all the angles of a four-sided figure should add up to be 360 degrees. Questions? Are we ready to move on to the next one? Okay, next picture, draw that in. Solve for x and y. So first of all, if you have a parallelogram and we have diagonals drawn, then you should know that if we have a parallelogram and a diagonal and a diagonal, then this diagonal is bisected in two equal segments, and then also this diagonal is cut into two equal segments. So to be able to solve for x and y, we're going to set up a true statement and solve for x and y. So let's look at our first true statement for this diagonal. Wouldn't the true statement be 4 better be equal to 2x?
Yes.
So then solving for x, when we divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to 2. And I'm going to change this problem real quick. Not change it, but I just meant to do this.
Wait, why did you do 4 over 2 equals 2x divided by 2?
Because we know that this piece is equal to this piece, so that was our true statement. 4 is equal to 2x, and then we solve for x.
Oh, okay.
So let's solve for y. I changed that y to 3y. That's what I meant to have there. So fix that. So our true statement for this diagonal, we know it's bisected or cut even two equal pieces. So that'll be 3y is equal to 2y plus 3. Is everybody comfortable? So then we'll solve for y, subtract 2y, subtract 2y. So we have y is equal to 3. We solve for x and y by setting up a true statement and solving. Questions? Concerns? Okay. Next problem. It says, now on number 3, it says, are the triangles similar? Now remember, as you draw that picture, similar objects have to have the same angles. They do not have to be the same size. They can be different sizes. However, the ratio of corresponding sides will be congruent if they're truly similar. Now guys, remember, you got to know vocabulary to understand what that means. Corresponding means sits in the same spot. Does everybody understand that? Corresponding means sits in the same spot. Different triangles, but sits in the same spot. So let me show you. Isn't 10 corresponding to 5? Yeah, because that's across from the blank angle on both, right, everybody? So these are corresponding sides. So isn't 12 across from the 90 degrees? Yeah. So the corresponding side is 6. And then we know that 6 is across from the 20 degrees, so the corresponding side would be 3. Now, just be careful, because really on your final exam, they'll usually take the triangle and turn it and flip it. You got to check your angles. Does that make sense? To know which sides correspond. Okay, so if they are truly similar, all the angles are the same. First rule. Are all the angles the same? Yes. Yes. Yeah, right? All the angles are the same on both triangles. If this is 90, 90, 20, 20, that third angle would be the same on both. Okay, we're good. So now we have to do, second, check the ratios of corresponding sides. So we'll do 10 over 5. The ratio means division. Ratio of corresponding sides, right? Do you guys understand that? Ratio of corresponding sides. So 10 over 5 better be equal to 6 over 3, which better be equal to 12 over 6. Now notice I chose to check this by starting with this bigger triangle. And then I stayed consistent. Doesn't I always put the big one on top from this one? You get what I'm saying, right? Because some people will go like this. 10 over 5 is equal to 6 over 12. But did you see how I started on this triangle? So you can't switch. Okay. So 2 is equal to 2 is equal to 2. So we're good, right? The ratios matched up. So we know for sure they are similar. You'll need to check both. Never assume just because it looks like it. Questions? Next problem. It says, given that the triangles are similar, what is the side length of the smaller triangle? So if the triangles are similar, we're told they're similar. So these triangles are similar. What is the side length of smaller triangles? So we know that we want to know what this side length is. So don't we need to know what x is? So we've got to solve for x, so we've got to set up a true statement. Well, we were told these are similar triangles. Now, when dealing with side lengths of similar triangles, we know ratios of corresponding sides are equal. So 10 over 5, is everybody following? 10 over 5 better be equal to x plus 1 over x minus 1. Now be careful to stay consistent. I went 10 over 5 and then I stuck with this one, x plus 1 over x minus 1. Now we're just solving for x. There's our true statement, we're solving for x. So we're going to cross, it's algebra, so we're going to cross multiply. We'll multiply both sides by x minus 1. Do you see how we have two terms? A lot of you still do not do this right. Do we have two terms, x minus 1? Anytime you're multiplying something with two terms, you need parentheses. Didn't the x minus 1 divide out on this side? Then we'll multiply both sides by 5, but the 5 will divide out on this side. Now there's two terms, so we need it in parentheses. So now it's just algebra. We got this so that we did not have to deal with any bottom fractions. So we'll distribute in 10. So x times 10 is 10x. 10 times negative 1. And then we have 5 times x and 5 times 1. Now it's just simple algebra solving for x, so we would subtract 5x from both sides. So that would add up to be 5x. And then we have minus 10 is equal to 5. So we would add 10, right? I'm going to go over here. We'd add 10. So we have 5x is equal to 15. So x is equal to 3. Now make sure you don't just say, oh, there's my answer. Make sure you've answered. Just say solve for x, no. So what's the length of the side of the smaller triangle? So that would be 3 minus 1, right? 3 minus 1, which is 2. So our final answer would have been 2. Questions? Concerns? Okay. Okay, this one, you'll just draw the picture with me. Okay, this is one that you will see on your final exam. It's an easy one, so do not miss it. Here we go. Let's read it and let's make logical sense of it. It says, a 10-foot flagpole casts a shadow of 20 feet. A man standing next to the flagpole is 6 feet tall. How long is the man's shadow? So let's draw a quick little picture here. So we have a 10-foot flagpole. Isn't that a 10? It's casting a shadow of 20 feet. So we have the shadow of 20 feet. Are we all good? It says the man stands next to the flagpole. So here's the man standing. And it says that he's 6 feet tall. Now it says, how long is the man's shadow? Wouldn't that be... Now we have similar triangles, right? The shadows would be cast the same, so they'd be similar triangles. So we would solve for question mark using ratios of corresponding sides. Isn't 10 corresponding to 6? Isn't 20 corresponding to question mark? Yeah, so let's set up ratios of corresponding sides. So the true statement is 10 over 6 will be equal to 20 over question mark. Don't bounce around. A lot of you, when we took this test a long time ago, but your brains have become way more developed, would go 10 over 6 is equal to question mark over 20. Did you see how I bounced around? Can't do it. Stay consistent. Questions? So we cross multiply, so we have 10 question mark is equal to 20 times 6. Because we cross multiply, divides out, cross multiply, divides out.
Wouldn't that just be x?
Yeah, but question mark x, whatever you want to call it. So we have 20 times 6 is 120. Now solving for question mark, we divide both sides by 10. So question mark is equal to 12, right? So 12. So our final answer was the man's shadow was 12 feet long. That would be such a stupid one to miss since it's not really that hard. But you will see one like that, so don't miss it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you don't have to write down the whole problem, but maybe actually just watch this one. Don't write it down, just watch so that we can get going. You'll need it so that it makes sense. Guys, this is a hard one. If you don't watch, you're going to be a lost soul. So it says triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. So we have, I'm going to draw a picture so that we can get the whole picture. So ABC, we know is similar to triangle DEF. Okay, awesome. Now it says it has a scale factor of 6 to 10. So it's a scale factor of 6 to 10. So it's a ratio of 6 over 10. Does everybody understand that? So isn't this one smaller? Yeah, right? So it's a ratio of 6 to 10. I'm just going to write that in the middle so that we remember. Remember that's ratio of 6 to 10. And it says side AB is 30 feet. Okay, so it says how long is side to DE? DE. So we don't know that, right? Now here's the thing. Let's figure out what, so there's like 12 different ways we could go about doing this. First of all, couldn't we just figure out the scale factor from here to here? Yes, and then we would just multiply it by the scale factor. That's one way of doing it. Let's just do it that way. So if it's 6 to 10, that's 6 over 10, right? Wrong. Sorry. We'd have to think about it like this. Aren't we going from here to here? So let's think about it like this. I have to go back and do this or else I always set up my ratios wrong. Aren't we really wondering 6 times what equals 10 to figure out the ratio? 6 times what since we went from here to here, right? Everybody? Isn't that what we're wondering? So then when we solve for question mark to figure out the factor, you'd be dividing by 6. Does that make sense? So it's really 10 over 6.
Okay.
So we'll be doing 10 divided by 6 is 1.666. Let's do the full thing. So 5/3 is the factor. So that means if this side's 30, then if we multiply by 5/3, it'll put us here. Does that make sense? Ratio is the same. So 30 times 5/3. 50. So this is 50. Does everybody get that? Now you could check. Does my ratio match up? Is 30 over 50 equal to 6 over 10? Yes, it is. Type it into your calculator. So the ratios are all good. Does everybody understand that? 50. Questions? Okay, next one. Write it down. You will all come across a problem like this on your final exam. You should be writing this problem down. Okay, so these ones are pretty easy if you know what you're doing and don't mess up on something simple. So it says find the value of x and y. So in this picture here, we know that a couple things. First of all, I want to point out, don't we have technically 2 similar triangles here? Don't we have this triangle, this small triangle, yeah? And it's similar to this big triangle. So now to solve missing sides, we just set up ratios of corresponding sides to solve. So we're solving for x and y. So solving for y is probably, it's pretty simple. Let's just use similar triangles here. Is everybody comfortable with that? So let's go with ratio of corresponding sides. So 6 over...
8.
Nope.
4.
Guys, 6, what corresponds to that side? 14, right? That whole side on the big triangle. 6 over 14 will be equal to, we went with the small triangle first, 6 over 14. What we did was 6 over 14, ratio of corresponding side, is equal to y over 12. Does everybody see how I set up ratio of corresponding side? Now it's just algebra. We'll cross multiply. So we'll multiply 12. Divides out, multiply 14, divides out. So 12 times 6, and then divided by 14, right? So we get a decimal. I'm going to put in the instructions round to the nearest full number. So we got y is equal to 5.1, so we'll just go with 5. Is everybody comfortable with that? Now there is 2 different ways we could solve for x, because one thing you do know is that if this line is bisecting this then it's cutting this over this equally with this over, or sorry, this with this will be cut equally with this and this. However, we could just do similar triangles again. So to solve for x, couldn't we just do 4 over 4 plus x, yeah, is equal to 6 over 14. We could do that. Wouldn't that be pretty easy? That's fine with me. So we would do 4 over 4 plus x, ratio of corresponding side. Once again, that was 4 over 4 plus x is equal to, we could do 5 over 12 or 6 over 14. So I'll just go with that, 6 over 14. Then we'd cross multiply, right? Up. So we have 14 being multiplied. It divides out over here. We're multiplying up 4 plus x over here. We put it in parentheses. Then we would solve for x. So we have 14 times 4, which is 56, is equal to 24 plus 6x. Solving for x, 56 minus 24 divided by 6, 5.3. I swear that I did something wrong. Let me type that in my calculator again. 14 times 4, 56. Did we set that up right? Was that 14? Did I do 6 over 14? Yeah. 4 over 4 plus x, which is right, all over 6 over 14. Yeah, we're good. So we have 4 times 14 is 56, which is equal to 24 plus 6x. Am I correct? Okay. So then we did 56, it just didn't feel right. Minus 24 is 32 divided by 6. So 5.3. So x is 5.3. So if I said round to the nearest whole best number, this would be 5 as well. Now our ratio should come out right, because we also could have done, we only could do this for x, so we could have done 6 over 8 is equal to 4 over x. So that's why I'm like weirded out by this. But it's let's do that. 6 just for fun. 6 over 8 should be equal to 4 over x. 8 times 4. Yeah. It did come out the same. So we're good. Does that make sense, everybody? There's 2 different ways we could have solved for x. Okay. All right, it didn't feel right, but it's good. Okay, so this is one thing actually Mackenzie asked me about a while ago on Alex, and I did not know the answer to, because I've actually never taught it. However, I figured out that it was important and that I needed to teach you guys this real quick. So this is really good to know. So guys, the angle sum of a polygon is this formula. To know how much all of the angles add up to be in a polygon, you can use this formula. The angle sum is equal to 180 times n minus 2. That would be the sum of all the angles on the inside. Now n stands for the number of sides. So don't we know for a fact that a 4-sided figure, all the angles add up to be 360? Yeah, right? So here's why. So we know that if we have a square, then we know all the angles add up to be 360. So I'll show you why. Side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4. So the angle sum will be 180, and then there's 4 sides, right? So it'll be 4 minus 2. So 180 times 2 is 360. So does everybody see why all the angles add up to be 360? Now if it has equal side length, so let's say this is a square, then we know the angles are all equal, so they'd all be 90 degrees. So we would take 360 divided by 4. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so get out your stage review packet. I'm going to do this problem with you. Okay, so it says, well, on page 48, number 1, it says, what is the sum of the interior angle measures of a regular octagon? So you're going to have this formula, you know, the sum of the inside of a polygon will add up to be 180 times n minus 2. So first of all, octagon means 8-sided figure, right? So I'm just going to, for fun this time, I'm going to draw in an 8-sided figure. Here we go. So we have our 8-sided figure, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now my question for you is, are all the angles equal?
Yep.
Yeah, aren't all the sides equal?
Yep.
So this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle, all of the angles are equal. Okay, awesome. So now if I said to you, what is the sum of the interior angles? The sum is this formula. The sum of all the angles is this. So that would be 180, and then isn't the number of sides 8? So 8 minus 2, so we have 180 times 6, what is it? 1,080. So guys, these angles all add up to be 1,080.
Why
Yeah,
do you do minus 2?
because that's the formula
For what?
to find the angle sum of a polygon, of anything. So, the angle sum was this, right? So every single one of these angles added up will equal that. So now what if I said, now that's our answer, right? It said, what's the angle sum? Didn't it say? What's the sum? Everybody? So now what if I said to you, what are the individual angles? Aren't they, isn't that split evenly?
Divide by 8.
Good, divide by 8. So what is it? 1080 divided by 8. So what's one of these angles, just for fun? 1080 divided by 8. Guys, go. 135. So this is 135 degrees, so this, all of those are. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, awesome.
How would you do a circle? A circle?
It's not that's not considered, you can't, we know a circle is 360, right? Just that. That's not considered a polygon. A circle's not considered a polygon. Okay, so here's the other thing I want to point out, guys. What if I said to you, okay, awesome. Now so that's the interior angle. What is the exterior angle? So if we extended that line, that'd be a straight line, right? So if I said to you, what's the exterior angle of an octagon? We'd first figure out this is 135 doing this method, and then when we do 180 minus 135. So we would say, if it said exterior angle, we'd say 45 degrees. Does that make sense? You're going to be asked that. Okay. One more. This is just quickly watch. You don't need to. You don't need to take notes. Just look. It says, what is the value of x? So don't we need to have a true statement to solve? So don't we need to know what that angle equals? Okay. So let's figure out. So what if we know that the sum of the angles of all the inside will be the number of sides, which there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, right? So let's figure out what those angles all add up to be. So that'll be 180, and then 5 minus 2, that's 180 times 3. Tell me what that is, quick. 540. Okay, now that's split evenly. So 540 divided by 5. Tell me what that is. 108. Very good. So this angle is 108 degrees, right?
So 108 is equal to 2x.
Yep, so 108 degrees is equal to 2x because it asks us to solve for x. So x is equal to
54.
54 degrees. So we solve for x. Now it says, what is the measure of the exterior angle? So if this is 108 and we extend this line out straight, 180 minus 108, right? The exterior angle. So what is that? 180 minus 108 is what? Nope, 180 minus 108. 72 degrees. Okay. Questions? Okay, that's it. So you're doing pages 48 through 54. If you're behind, I do not care. Start on those pages. 48 through 54. On page 48. If you cannot do number 5, then you can skip it. You should try it. Then if you can't do it, skip it.